for subscribing. We're at 200 subscribers. Let's get more. Going Around Bus podcast with Chris, Da'Mon, and Sal. Let's get to 2,000. Thank you for all your support. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Whose house? Rams house. Welcome to episode 6 of the Going Around Buzz podcast with Chris, Da'Mon, and Sal. What's up, Sal?
How's it going, Da'Mon?
The Rams are back on the win column.
Oh, yeah. Feels a lot better, huh?
Yeah, when you're 3-3
Yeah,
compared
boy,
to...
I missed that Victory Monday, definitely.
Yeah,
So it feels good to have that back.
Feels great to be back. With that said, was there a lot of Carolina fans there in the stands to you, or was it mostly Rams fans?
I would say probably 70-30 Ram fans.
Because to me, I don't think Carolina has a big fan base to me. You know what I'm saying? Some teams come in and have a big fan base. Our tailgate was regular tailgate. It wasn't like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Carolina fan, I didn't really see a lot of them. Like I saw.
Well, yeah, Carolina, they have a fan base, but they don't really. Some fan bases travel better than others.
Yeah.
Carolina is not one of them, but they have diehard fans, but they just don't really travel to watch the team.
And you got to remember, their coach had just gotten fired.
Yeah, they're going through a lot.
They're going through a lot. Coach had just gotten fired. Baker Mayfield got hurt, so they're down to the third string.
Yeah.
Quarterback, P.J. Walker. I thought the way they were playing that Christian McCaffrey was a quarterback. They kept on giving the ball to him.
Yeah, they were pretty much one-dimensional. I mean, he seemed like their only offensive weapon, and eventually the Rams, were able to just shut that down, and so it made it a lot easier for the Rams to pull out that victory. Yeah.
Now, to me, I mean, Matthew Stafford threw a pick six, which scared me because it's like, come on, man, this team doesn't want to win the game. We should have blew them out. I mean, we won 24-10, but. A win's a win. I hate when people say, "Oh, you barely won," or you shouldn't. A win is a win, whether you win by 2-0 or 56-0.
Yeah.
You gotta have 2 points to win an NFL game to start it off right. Safety. So we won.
Well, I'd rather barely win every Sunday
exactly.
or every game. I don't really care. People don't care about the point, the point spread, as long as you win, unless you're a gambler. But I'm not a gambler. I just wins and losses. There's only wins and losses. There's not a column for played their heart out or almost lost or almost won. It doesn't matter. Wins and losses, and the Rams are right where they need to be, 3-3, and ready to roll. Get that bye, get some people healthy, and on to the Niners. So,
leading up to that game, there's a lot of talk about Cam Akers. He's gonna get traded, or he just wasn't. Sean McVay didn't really give a real answer, but we know he's about to get traded. This is the second Rams running back in the last 8 years, the other being Trey Mason, that's dealing with personal issues or just dealing with the Rams in general. Like, I don't know what's the personal issues or the way they're being played, the scheme or the system. I do not know, but I just know that I think Cam Akers' time as LA Ram is over. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I think, in training camp, he looked great. It looked like the Rams were, on the right path. But, a lot of these players, we only see them on Sunday or on game day. But a lot of these guys, they're normal people, and he might be having a lot of issues that he's dealing with off the field, and it affects his play on the field. So, yeah, one thing that I do respect about Coach McVay is he pretty much keeps everything in house, and so I respect that. Fans, we want to know everything, especially with social media. Everybody wants to know, what he ate, for dinner and stuff. So I kind of am respectful towards that. I know that, it just didn't work out. He played last year. It was great, very instrumental in the Rams winning the Super Bowl. But this year he just looks like a different player. So, and the Rams can only be so patient with somebody. They got to get a guy that wants to run the ball, and so right now he is kind of struggling. So, yeah, I think the Rams, it's probably best that they part ways for both Cam Akers and the Rams.
Do you think the Rams should trade for a running back like Sonny Michel, Antonio Gibson, Kareem Hunt, or Christian McCaffrey has been out like CMC? They say. Do you think the Rams should trade for a running back, or should we stay with Kyrie Williams, a rookie who hasn't played yet, Darrell Henderson? Who else do we brought? Malcolm Brown back.
Yeah, Malcolm Brown's right.
About all that?
I actually would try and try and make a move and bring someone who's a little bit more explosive. We know what we kind of have now, and I think we're going to need more from the running back position as the season plays on, especially. In the playoffs, you're going to need someone who's a dynamic back, and there's some that are available now. So I'm sure the Rams will be able to find somebody that they can, add to the roster, whatever it takes. And that's one thing that I guess us Ram fans, like is that that the Rams are working on something. So that'll be nice to add another player, a star player.
We got to have a running attack because a running attack kills the clock, and the better running back you have, it creates play action to throw it out to the receivers.
Yeah.
When the teams know you don't have a running back, they can just stack the box and just play, the receivers man up. Like, okay, they're not going to run the ball, they're not passing. This, the Stafford's going to throw in another pick six or another interception. Like, they're ready for that, so they know the Rams are not a threat. Don't have a running attack at all. It's gone. We know that. But who's going to step up during the bye week? Will it be somebody come against the Niners? Because we got to beat the Niners, man. I'm tired of losing to the 49ers. 7 straight games. We're not going to make it 8. We're going to beat the Niners, hopefully.
Yeah.
I got too many people calling me.
Yeah. I mean, 7 in a row is unbelievable. 8, we got to snap
8
that.
is 4 years in a row.
Yeah, we got to stop that. Yeah.
7 is 34, 3 and a half. 8 games.
Those Niner fans are loving it, though. But, we'll be able to. I feel now that, the Rams just need to be more physical and just match that type of intensity. I would just run the football and make the 49ers work,
Let's talk about the game and how Skronik and Allen Robinson are integrated into the offense. What did you think about that?
I thought it was amazing. I was so happy for the Rams and also for Allen Robinson to finally be, a big part of the Rams offense. That was the player that the Rams, hoped they were getting when they signed him. And you could see, what he's capable of doing. It was nice. He was a great blocker too on that Skronik touchdown. That he took out 2 defenders. That was amazing. And so, you could see that when the Rams, after the bye, the Rams will have Van Jefferson, which will make a big difference. Now you'll have the big 3, and which will make a big difference in the Rams passing offense. So I'm excited about that.
On the Carolina side of the game field, there's some fireworks between what's the name? Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson.
Vernon Davis, like the coach, the interim coach, Steve Wilk, who used to be the coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals, right?
Kicked him off the game, said, "Get out of here." I was like, "What's going on? He ain't hurt."
Well, I guess he argued with the coach before.
Yeah.
And then he did it again when he came out the field, and the coach sent him to the locker room. Yeah.
Sent him to the locker room and then sent him to Arizona.
Yeah, the next day it was a quick trade. That's you have to get a handle on a lot of this. You don't want to, because it'll destroy a team when you have people pointing fingers. And that's another thing I was proud of the Rams during when you face adversity. It's so easy to start pointing fingers on people, and Stafford isn't like that. The Rams offensive line, we already knew when you lost Whitworth to retirement that it would be a struggle, but the Rams never predicted or expected that many injuries to all happen. But now it looks like they're starting to, their offensive line did well, kept Stafford protected, so that was great.
Now the Rams have a bye week, and they look to get in pretty good shape going into the bye because everybody, most of the teams are 3-3, I believe. San Francisco's 3-3, Rams are 3-3, I believe. Seattle's 3-3. Arizona, I believe, is 2-4.
Yeah.
They're all packed in there. So 1 or 2 games. Somebody said the team may win 10 games and win the division. Last year we had 3 games, 3 teams go to the playoffs: Rams, Cardinals, and I believe the Niners.
Yes.
So.
Well, I think that's what makes it exciting. That's why I never panic. It's a long season, but not only in our division, the NFC West, but also in the NFC. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have, just barely above 500. The only team that's killing it now is the Eagles, but the other teams they're struggling too. So the Rams are in the driver's seat. They're in control of their own destiny, and that's what we wanted as a fan.
You said Eagles. Big shout out to my boy Law.
Yeah.
My boy Law is an Eagles fanatic.
There's Eagle fans everywhere.
He's an Eagles fan. He rides hard for the Eagles. I can't say nothing to him, so I'm giving him props.
Yeah.
Law, your Eagles are in first place, 6-0, looking good. But don't count the Buffalo Bills and Eagles yet, just in Arizona.
That's right. I still say Rams and Bills. I still say Rams and Bills in the end.
You predicted you said the Falcons 49ers game would be close.
Yeah.
The 49ers the Falcons beat the 49ers 28-14 to go 3-3, tied Tampa Bay with the division lead. How are the Falcons doing this with such a young team?
Well, the Falcons actually have talent on that team. If you jump on them early and kind of keep them down, they're beatable. But once Mariota gets going, that offense is pretty dynamic. But I think that a lot of people, the 49ers are play on another level when they play the Rams. So every time they beat the Rams, everyone thinks that the Niners are the team to beat. But it's only against the Rams that they play at that level. They're very beatable. So I knew that Atlanta Falcons had a chance. And, the Niners are going to bring it against the Rams. I'm expecting that. But There's a lot of teams that are decent in the NFL right now.
Speaking of a decent team, Bill Belichick goes into Cleveland, beats his own employer with a third-string quarterback, Bailey Zappi. Who is this guy? I just want to check. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
He destroyed Cleveland. He destroyed the Lions. Like, he went to a school, Houston Baptist, and then he went to another school.
Yeah.
I never heard of this guy. Like, is he keep? You know, the last time Belichick had a quarterback that kept on winning, nobody heard of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I just think that, his ability to recognize talent and not to put his team or players in tough positions. He doesn't expect them to do anything that they're not capable of doing. That's why he said, just, his motto, just do your job. That's how a great coach is like that. That's how he looks at things. As long as you worry about your assignment, don't worry about what other people are doing. And I think that for him to be able to get the best out of every player, it doesn't matter about the player's star status or something. Belichick isn't fazed by none of that. He still expects you to produce, and so he gets the best out of every player. So it doesn't surprise me that those type of wins are coming his way.
Now the team that's surprising the NFL to me are the Jets. They went to the whole field and won 27-10 against the Packers.
Yeah.
Are the Packers in trouble?
I think so. You can only mask so much. But it's interesting now. Now you hear where Aaron Rodgers is wanting to simplify the offense. Did you hear about that? Yeah, he's saying we need to make it simpler. No, you don't. When you start doing that, he doesn't have. When you lose a guy like Adams, that's gonna hurt. Eventually, it's gonna show on the field. These guys may have they may play a couple of games and play at a certain level, but to play at that level the whole season, like Devontae Adams, that's rare. That you can't replace a guy like that. So it'll take a while before they get to that offensive explosiveness.
Sal, the Jets are 4-2. World, the Jets are 4-2. I think they won 4 games in the last 5 years.
Well, what's interesting is the Jets and the Giants. I mean, New York is getting it done. Yeah. It's been years since that has happened, so that is amazing. But I'm actually kind of happy for both those coaches and for those teams, as long as they don't beat the Rams. It'll work for me.
The Giants come back to rally to beat the Ravens 24-20. The Giants are doing really good with no receivers. Do you think they will keep with this momentum in that division with the Eagles 6-0, Cowboys lost to the Eagles? That division is tough.
Well, that division is physical. That's the NFC East has always been that way. And especially the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was always a physical, division. And now you're starting to see that they're starting to play that old school football. But the good thing is for the other divisions is these teams beat up each other, so it kind of helps out other teams. When you play that level of football, it's harder when you play a team that has an offense that's explosive and stuff and make these guys work. So.
And then the surprise to me, Tampa Bay went into Pittsburgh and lost 20-18. Now Tampa Bay, Tom Brady attended Robert Kraft's wedding and missed the walkthrough on Friday. Do you think that affected his play and the team's play losing to Pittsburgh 2018?
Yes, and yesterday I saw where they were talking about some of the privileges, that Tom Brady was getting, and the coach was telling the team that he's not getting any special privileges, but it showed all the excuses that he had, where he was able to attend someone's wedding, and players see that, and I think that was one of the reasons why the coach resigned. He didn't want to deal with that again with Brady, because I think that. Brady has a lot of power. He's a great player, Hall of Famer, probably the best quarterback we've ever seen. But when you see special treatment for players like that, it's hard to keep a team together. When you start losing, these teams, players start pointing fingers, and everything will start unraveling. I think Tampa Bay is good, but like I said, every team is beatable, and so that's why the Rams have a great shot. That's why, as long as McVay, keeps the Rams together, which he's always been able to do, we'll be good.
Tom Brady's such like a global icon around fashion and all that stuff. But if Tampa Bay was 7-0 or 6-0, it wouldn't be a big deal. But now that they're losing, he's going through those personal issues with his wife. We all know about. It gets magnified.
Yeah.
So it's like, he went to a wedding on Friday. He missed a walkthrough. How many walkthroughs has he missed when they're going through Super Bowl season or whatever? He's an older guy. He's 45. Like. I mean, I don't know. I just think if they're winning, it's not a big deal. But when they're losing, things get magnified. Look what's going on. Oh, my God, there's trouble in paradise.
Well, it goes back to that old adage, winning, cures everything. But, you should expect that. When you start, same thing for the Rams. I mean, they're defending Super Bowl champions. And, no one's giving them a break. Nobody cares that the Rams offensive line, had lost Whitworth and all the injuries that the Rams are dealing with. No one really cares about that. All they say is, hey, your Rams are struggling, which we Ram fans already know
People
that.
are telling me, Super Bowl, it's over. You guys are not. I said, there's only 6 games. We're 3-3. No, man, you guys are not going to repeat it. It's over. Your season's over. Done. You're only going to win 7 games. Like, come on. Relax.
No, but I like that, though. I love the Rams. They respond better as underdogs. I mean, as being a diehard Ram fan, I mean, I've been an underdog since 52 years. I love that. To me, it's like, because I'd rather have people focus on other things. Let them focus on the Eagles and other teams, and meanwhile the Rams will, they'll get it right. And once they get it together, I mean, just adding Van Jefferson to the Rams offense, that's going to be huge. You'll see Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp will be, that much more explosive.
What do you think about the Denver-San Diego game? Or just San Diego, my bad. Los Angeles Chargers game. That was like...
the LA Renters,
16, I'm just like, come on. Who wants to win this game, man? It's like, what's the final score, 19-16? The field goal kicker for the Chargers had like a hamstring problem. He hit the floor like,
that game is winnable. That game, I thought Denver had it. But, on that botched punt return where it hit the player and it was recovered by the Chargers, they put them in field goal range, But the sad thing is Denver invested big money into Russell Wilson, and he's not doing much cooking.
He's not cooking.
He's not even heating anything up. I mean, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They're terrible. And that's why when you spend that much money on certain players, with the guaranteed contracts and stuff, it's hard. He does not look like Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks.
They can't score. I mean, they have the worst, they have the worst, third down percentage, worst goal line percentage.
Yeah.
They can't score. I just don't understand. It's like, man, I don't think he's, what's that word I'm looking for with the receivers? There's cohesiveness.
Yeah. The chemistry.
There it is.
There's no chemistry. That's one of the reasons why you look at Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. They asked him, Jalen Ramsey asked him, who was the greatest receiver he ever played with? And they were talking about, of course, Megatron or Cooper Kupp. And they're both different receivers. I mean, they don't resemble each other, but he said the cohesiveness and the chemistry that he has with Cooper Kupp is amazing.
Wow.
But he stopped short of saying that Cooper Kupp was better than Megatron. But everybody was, they're like, what? It's not even a comparison. They were talking about Megatron. But Cooper Kupp is, he said Cooper Kupp doesn't look the part. Yeah. You look at him, but all he does is work hard and produces. Yeah.
Now, the game last year, the game of this year, last year's playoff was the Bills and KC. KC won with 13 seconds to go. Bills end up winning the game 24-20 on a late interception thrown by Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's the game. Everybody because I think the Bills, to get to the Super Bowl, will have to beat KC. That's their nemesis.
Yes.
Rams nemesis, Niners. So KC, even though they're not in the same division, they're like the best quarterbacks, one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So I mean, that game 24-20. The Eagles beat the Cowboys Sunday night, 26-17 on Cooper Rush.
That was a good game.
That was the last game for Cooper Rush. Dak is coming back now. All that quarterback controversies. We would have beat the Eagles, okay, but come on.
That's what I said. It's so funny, even the timing when they're going to, Dak's going to start practicing now because they lost.
Yeah.
But if Cooper Rush would have led them to victory over the Eagles, I think they probably would have just rode that, as long as they could. But as soon as I knew once he lost the game, then they would bring back Dak Prescott.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel if a quarterback, you could lose your job through injury, but if Cooper Rush kept on winning, do you bring Dak back even though he's a better quarterback, or do you go with the hot hand? Because
I personally would stick with the hot hand. These coaches got to win games. I mean, your feelings, you could say that for Dr. Phil. You got to win football games, and a lot of coaches, old school, thinking used to be you don't lose your job to injury. But now these coaches, they have a short leash now. So a lot of these guys know, hey, I got to win these games, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. The contracts and stuff are something you'll worry about later, but either way, both of them are going to be, getting paid anyway.
This Thursday night game, we have the Saints and the Cardinals. Now, both teams are 2-4. Do you think the loser of that game is out of the playoff picture?
I don't think they're out of it, but I do think that it's going to be a tough climb. But with 17 games and everybody kind of, I think the fact that they don't, a lot of teams don't play their starters, it takes at least 5-6 games before teams start clicking, because, they didn't really play together, and I think that, since the Rams started setting their starters down, it's taken the Rams a while now. Now their offense is starting to resemble a little bit of what they did last year, right? I mean, that jet sweep came back, and look how successful that Skoranek is. he ran that great, you know, and then the blocks by, you know, Allen Robinson down the field were great. So I think little by little, as the Rams get players back, you know, the offense will start putting up big numbers and you know, be able to, you know, increase that that scoring average.
Here's a couple games I'm just going to talk about real quick. The Falcons and the Bengals. What do you think about that game?
Wow, Falcons and the Bengals. I would say, I think the Bengals will win that game.
Really? After the Falcons beat? The Falcons are your team, Sal.
No. The Falcons are my team, but I just know I like Mariota. But I just know the NFL now is like, it's so unpredictable. But I think the Bengals, you know, the Bengals have to turn it around, and I think that, you know, Joe Burrow, he'll figure it out. He'll start winning some games.
Seahawks and the Chargers.
Seahawks, Chargers, you know, it's so funny because Seattle looks completely different from game to game. Yeah. Some, they look like world beaters, and then others, and it looks like they're struggling. But I think the Chargers, they should have lost against, you know, Denver. So I would say Seattle is probably going to beat them.
I'm going to go for the Chargers, obviously, because Seattle's in our division. I can never go for people in our division. Come on.
But one thing that's interesting, and I think that Justin Herbert, I mean, he's a great young talent, but he gets a pass for a lot of things. I think his win-loss record is like 15-15. He's like 500.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, everyone acts like he is killing it. He's like, I just kid around. I said he's another Phillip Rivers. He really is. He's a stat guy. He's a stat. I mean, I like him, but he hasn't, you know, most of the time when you evaluate a quarterback or an offense, you look at their win-loss record. That determines everything. You know, and that's one of the reasons why for the 49er fans, I never understood why they didn't like Garoppolo when all Garoppolo did is win. Same thing with Jared Goff. Jared Goff has always, you know, he's struggled, but he was also winning a lot of games. And you see in Detroit, he plays well enough. If you add a couple of pieces, you know, he won't carry a team. Neither will Garoppolo. But he's a part of it. You know, if you protect him and you give him some weapons, you'll win a lot of games.
The game I care the most about, 49ers and Chiefs, because I got to root for the Chiefs. I think if the Niners lose to the Chiefs and lose to the Rams, they're hopefully done.
Yeah.
So Chiefs, do me a favor. Beat the Niners this Sunday.
Yeah, that I think that's a strong possibility. So it'll be nice because when you have a bye, it's always nice to be able to just sit
back and relax.
You're not going to lose anything. You're not going to gain anything. But sometimes, well, actually, you can gain without even playing.
Who plays on Monday night? Is it the New England and the Bears Monday night, I believe?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
The Bears again? Why they put them on? Don't put them on TV anymore, the Bears, and don't put the Broncos on TV anymore.
No, that game belongs on Thursday night. Thursday night is who was it? Al Michaels said that if it was another game, he would quit.
He would quit.
Yeah, he would retire if he saw another bad game like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Those games are terrible. And it's so funny because across the league, people are always talking about these explosive offenses, but
defense.
It's not always the case. Yeah. Well, I don't even think it's defense. I just think these teams they're not playing at the level they need to be playing at.
Oh, I forgot to say, look at my Rams watch. You know, what time is everybody? My shine. You know how to give me a new, whose house, what time? Rams time. Wow. That's my new calling, Rams time.
That's always on point, right?
Look at this. This is beautiful watch. Somebody got me. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's a gift?
Yeah, it's a gift.
Well, you can't beat that.
I love it. Rams watch.
Always on time.
Always. I always have to know what time it is. With that being said, another episode of Going Around Buzz Podcast with Chris, Da'Mon, and Sal.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, comment. Like, subscribe, share, comment. The Rams have a bye.
Yeah, let's get those comments going.
Yeah, get them comments.
Yeah, I want to hear. Yeah, tell us what you're about. Yeah, let's hear. Let's go.
Comments,
comments. Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, comment.
Don't be shy. Yeah, a lot of people, they don't talk. Let's talk. Then we know what you want to talk about, right? Go Rams.
Whose house?
Rams house.
Whose house?
Rams house. Let's go. Perfect.